He woke up before the sun. The city was quiet, still dreaming beneath the grey dawn. John Miller, a single father and janitor, put on his faded blue uniform, the one with his name stitched above the chest, and stared at the photo of his son taped to the fridge. Michael's smile made him forget how tired he was. "I'll make things better, kid," he whispered. "I promise." Every day was the same bus, the same hallway, the same mop gliding across marble floors that would never belong to him. People in suits passed without seeing him. He was invisible, and somehow he was used to it. But at night, when he came home, Michael's laughter made the world bright again. They would sit by the window, counting stars, dreaming of things far away. Michael believed his dad could fix anything, and John tried to believe it too. Until one night, something changed. It was almost midnight. The offices were silent. John was cleaning the executive floor when he noticed a small pile of discarded folders near the trash bin. Among them, a leather-bound book. Old, worn, beautiful. He brushed off the dust and read the name engraved inside. Richard W. Hale. The billionaire who owned the building. The man whose portrait hung in the lobby downstairs. But Richard Hale was dead, gone almost a year now. John flipped through the pages. It wasn't a planner or a logbook, it was a diary. The handwriting was elegant, but there was sadness between the lines. "I built walls of gold around an empty heart. My greatest regret isn't the empire I built, but the love I lost building it." John couldn't stop reading. The words felt heavy, personal. He turned to the last entry, written in shaky ink. "If you are reading this, you were meant to." Beneath it were coordinates, numbers marking a location, and one final message. "The truth I left behind is buried where my heart once rested." John stared at the page. He didn't know why, but he felt like those words were calling to him. That night, he looked up the coordinates. They pointed to a coastal town called Greystone Point, 2 hours away. The next evening, after Michael fell asleep, John packed a small bag, a flashlight, a notebook, and the diary, and drove into the night. The road wound through fog and pine forests until he reached the ocean. Salt filled the air. Waves whispered against the rocks. He followed the map to a rusted gate. A sign barely legible read, "Hale Manor." The gates were open just enough for him to slip through. The mansion stood silent, like a sleeping giant. Its windows shattered, its walls covered in ivy. But in the garden, something caught his eye. A bench facing the sea, and beside it, a stone marker. He remembered the words, "Where my heart once rested." He knelt, brushed away the ivy, and found a small metal box buried beneath the soil. Inside it, an envelope. He unfolded it slowly, his hands trembling. "To whoever finds this, I spent my life chasing power and lost everything that mattered. If my family cannot forgive me, perhaps a stranger can understand. I've left everything I built to someone who sees value in what others throw away." John's breath caught. He kept reading. "If you are reading this, you've already proven yourself. The Hale Foundation is yours now. Use it to help those who serve quietly, the ones like you." At the bottom of the page was his name, John Miller. He stared at it for a long time. How could Richard Hale know his name? He looked out over the waves and whispered, "Why me?" There was no answer, only the sound of the sea. But deep down, he knew his life had just changed forever. Back home, John placed the diary and letter on the table. He couldn't explain it, but something about it felt real, like fate itself had reached out. Days passed. He went through the motions at work, but his mind stayed on those pages. Late one night, he searched through the company archives and found an old photograph. Richard Hale, smiling beside a man in a janitor's uniform. The caption read, "Richard Hale with employee James Miller, 1988. John's heart stopped. That was his father. Suddenly everything made sense. Richard Hale had known his father, and somehow, before dying, had left behind this strange inheritance. For him. Then came another letter. No return address. Only one line. "Come to the 40th floor, midnight." He went. The building was empty. Lights humming softly above. At the top floor, a man in a dark suit waited. "Mr. Miller," he said, "we've been expecting you." He handed John a folder, legal documents, foundation records, and a small flash drive labeled Legacy. "Mr. Hale prepared everything before he passed," the man said. "You were chosen." John's voice cracked. "Chosen? For what?" "To continue what he couldn't," the man said. "To give back." That night, John watched the video on the flash drive. Richard Hale appeared. Older, frail, but with a gentle smile. "If you're seeing this," he said, "you found the diary. That means you care. I chose you because you see worth where others see waste. Your father reminded me of that once. I never forgot." He paused, eyes heavy with regret. "I built an empire of stone, but I forgot the people who built it for me. You remind me of the goodness I lost. Take what I leave and make it matter." The screen went black. John sat for hours, silent. He wasn't thinking about money. He was thinking about meaning. The next week he reopened the Hale Foundation. He used it to fund scholarships for single parents, build homes for struggling families, and support workers who had been ignored too long. People called him the Janitor heir. But he never sought fame, only purpose. He still woke up early, made breakfast for his son, and smiled when people finally noticed him. One evening, Michael asked, "Dad, are we rich now?" John smiled softly. "No, son. We're blessed." Years later, he sat by the same ocean where it all began. The diary rested in his lap, its pages worn and fading. He opened it one last time and whispered, "Thank you, Richard. You didn't just give me money. You gave me a reason." Then he closed the book, took out a new journal, and began to write. "To whoever finds this one day, kindness is the only inheritance that lasts. Wealth fades, but compassion grows forever." He set the pen down, smiled, and looked at the horizon as the sun slipped beneath the water. And somewhere, far away, another janitor began his shift, unaware that his quiet work was already part of a legacy built on kindness.